All right, it is Tuesday night. I don't know if Wes put up the new song or not, but we may have a new intro song other than what he does coming up next week. But it is another episode of Go Hard and Fight Songs, uh, back after the holiday break, and my team was the only one that did not play, I believe. Seemed like everyone
Um,
else did.
there were quite a few that didn't. Um,
I mean, this past weekend.
oh, this past weekend, yeah. I think
Yeah,
you guys had the early buy on the second half
yeah,
of the schedule.
yeah.
But, what this one? But the conference came home with some trophies. Arizona State won their tournament, which I believe they played this last weekend. Yeah, the Desert Hockey Classic,
Hmm.
hosted by Arizona State, won by Arizona State this year. Apparently, it's going to go on hiatus after this one, so it's going to be a while before the next one is played. Miami played in the GLI. They finished third, I think.
So they didn't get last.
No, they beat Ferris State in the consolation game. So yeah, they got third. They lost to Michigan Tech on Sunday, and then then beat Ferris for the third time this season on Monday the 29th.
They're improving.
Western Michigan went to Milwaukee and brought home the trophy for the Quick Trip Holiday Faceoff, taking wins over Boston College and number two at the time, Wisconsin. Um, Arizona State swept Dartmouth on the 27th and 28th, and then won their tournament that they hosted. Omaha won an exhibition game over Manitoba on Tuesday, December 30th, before being swept by Cornell this last weekend. Um, Colorado College also fell victim to Augustana in a weekend sweep. Maine took a full win and a tie away from Denver and won the shootout on Saturday. So for those with bragging rights, they swept Denver on the weekend. North Dakota swept Mercyhurst on the weekend. St. Cloud State won the Cactus Cup with a win over Yale and UMass Lowell. And Western Michigan swept Notre Dame without giving up a goal this weekend. Hampton is the first goaltender in Western Michigan history to go back to back games against the same opponent and shut them out and sweep a weekend. So,
Yeah, you
still,
guys outscored 8-0, right?
yep, back to back 4-0 wins. I was on hand for both of them. It was a good time. Nice little trip down to South Bend on Friday.
Not gonna lie, I other than the World Juniors, I did not watch a lick of hockey, like other than maybe the Wild when I was at my parents' house.
Well, outside of the
But
Western games, neither did I. But
yeah, I was at the World Juniors game against Slovakia. Uh, Met up with our good friend Tom Harden. Talked with him between periods, and then my brother went to the U.S. Finland game, and I watched that on TV. And well, then I haven't watched like any hockey since that one.
yeah, no, I just watched the two Western games because I was at them. Didn't really watch anything else. Saw the results on online, but other than that, wasn't really paying too much attention. Did see the goals of the week as selected by the NCHC, and I will say that they got number one wrong. Uh, I mean, it was a nice goal by St. Cloud State, and it really did look like they were just trying to get everybody who played this weekend on there. But I think I would have traded Grant Slukinski's goal at 5 for the goal that Zach Wisdom scored to make that game 4-0 on Saturday with his spike of the puck that was in air. Should have been the number one goal of the weekend, but maybe a little biasness there on the fact that it was a Bronco doing it. But I think it was the nicest goal of the weekend.
No, you having bias? Not at all.
I would never. Um, Also, I will say that I do think, a lot of people are saying that Notre Dame's not as strong as they've been in years past, and that may or may not be true. But I think this weekend is probably the best games that Hampton has had all year. He was battling every puck. He was really strong on rebounds and loose pucks in the crease. Uh, it was kind of some of the stuff that I was complaining about at the beginning of the year. I did not have the same complaints could not be made this weekend. In fact, I tweeted during Saturday's game that the second period was probably the best period he's had as a Bronco in the year and a half that he's played. Um, he's getting good at the right time, and they did get some players back Saturday that they were missing Friday at the bigger tournaments, the Spengler Cup and the World Juniors. Um, but he's the big reason why those games were shutouts. It wasn't like there weren't dangerous chances. He came up big on a bunch of occasions. Uh, Guys in all alone on him, and he shut the door every time. Guys in close with a couple opportunities. He came up big. Um, Friday night, I will say Friday night, he did have a little bit of help from Iro Hakarainen. He made a play like he was the one in net, and it kind of got referenced, I think, during the pregame show on Saturday that if all three goalies had gone down, Hakarainen was going to have to pad up because he was making some saves too. So uh, it did not go unnoticed at all that he came up huge Friday to keep that a 1-0 game in the second period before Western really kind of opened that one up to win 4-0 that night too. But I had notes for today. There are, I think, 5 guys on at least 4-game point streaks right now. Um,
Hmm.
Depending on assists or goals, some form or another of them. Zach Whiteless, or not Zach Whiteless, sorry. There's too many Zachs on this damn team that if you throw Zach and then a last name, you might be right, but I was not right that time.
There's like a
William,
30% chance.
yeah, William Whitelaw is actually leading the team. He's on a 5-game point streak. Uh, had a 3-game goal streak going into the second Notre Dame game, or had a would have been 4-goal game, whatever it is. He's got
Four
points in
game
five.
goal streak.
Yeah, he's got points in 5 straight. Could not get a goal. I think in the second Notre Dame game to expand it, or the first one. I don't remember which one. But anyway, his games with a goal streak ended, but he kept it running with assists. So he's on a 5-game point streak. Zach Wisdom also on a 4-game point streak. I think with an assist in 4 straight and also like 2 or 3 goals. So he's got like 6 points in his last 4. Grant Slukinski is on a 4-game assist streak and point streak. He's got 5 assists and 2 goals, 3 goals over the last 4 games. Western's on a 5-game winning streak going back to the split with your Duluth Bulldogs. Really getting it going here to start the second half of the year and seem to be building, even though they may have lost another defenseman for an extended period of time, as Cole Krusberg-Rosine went down late Friday night, did not play Saturday. Ty Henricks also ended up skating off the ice in the third period on Saturday's game. Did not come back for that one. So as much luck as they had avoiding injuries last year, it seems that injuries have caught up with them and they are experiencing last year's and this year's all together now. So lots of injuries going through the locker room. It was reported by Coach Frischweiler before, I think, the first game of the Quick Trip tournament that Cole Spicer had gotten cut by a skate blade at practice, and that's why he's missed the last 4 games. Hopefully he will come back soon. But yeah, no, just injuries starting to pile up, but also getting scoring from depth again, as Western has been able to do the last few years. Next man up mentality is running wild.
Just to get you going, it's all the Minnesota kids. It's
I
all the
mean,
Minnesota kids.
it could only be.
that's the only reason
Except I
that you
think
got
Zach.
one last year,
I think
and that's why you're doing well this year. I mean, clearly.
I mean, our top guys are definitely Minnesota guys in Will Whitelaw and Grant Slukinski and Hampton Slukinski. Those are all Minnesota guys. We got some pretty good Canadians too. So
No, and you got
um,
pretty good other guys
got some
in
great guys from
general.
Michigan. The captain Owen Michaels, his play has picked up since apparently he was playing the first half of the season with a torn meniscus. Really used the 4 week break there in between the Duluth game and the Quick Trip tournament to heal up and uh, get her going. So to what degree it was really an issue, I don't know, but that was the report that there was a meniscus issue. The doctors cleared him. He felt good enough to go, and has you could tell that he was definitely not who he was at the beginning of the season. The last couple weekends, his game has greatly improved with that kind of getting better.
Yeah, I've noticed him being talked about more in the positive sense, and that's usually on my Twitter feed because I do have the Western stuff on there as well as other teams and what Brent reposts and Tom will repost and everything. And usually, if you're not hearing about a guy, he's not really doing a whole lot. Um, but Michaels has definitely become more prominent in my Twitter feed lately for what he's done. Um, but yeah, I don't know what a meniscus does in hockey as far as that goes. I mean,
Helps
football.
helps you helps you skate. I think it's part of your the bendy part
I'm
of. Oh,
I
that's
was
cool.
not in the medical field in as far as that goes. Have no idea. Um, I know our my favorite quarterback because he's forced on me. Um, Missed a whole year because of it. My brother played through a torn meniscus, and they went and looked at it, and they're like, "Nah, it's too late to repair it." So now he can just, if he sits for too long, he can make his knee pop really loud, and
Nice.
he's like, "That's a fun party trick."
It looks like it is the cartilage in between the knee joint itself. So in between where the big bone up top and the little bones on the bottom meet in between there is where your meniscus is. It's right in there. It's in there. In that part.
Yeah, and I probably have
So
issues
it
with
keeps the
that too.
bones from grinding away. So probably not comfortable. Not like the worst thing to tear and be walking around on, but not the greatest either, it would look like. But I'm no medicine man. I'm just
But
looking at
did you?
pictures on the internet.
But did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express?
Mm, nope, I stay at Staybridges lately. They're pretty nice little hotels. And if they want to sponsor the show, we'd be glad to have them, but they won't. They'll never hear this. And that's okay.
People like 5 to 10 years younger than us will never know that reference.
Yeah, right? Uh, don't look now, but Western's at a 3.75 goals a game average, creeping up on that 4 goals a game average that they've had the last few years. Uh, Top three scoring teams in the country right now are with Michigan, Wisconsin, and Dartmouth. Denver is the highest scoring team in the NCHC with 3.81 goals a game. North Dakota right behind them at 3.8. Western number three in the conference at 3.75. And then surprisingly, Miami is number 14 in the country and fourth in the NCHC at 3.45 goals a game.
Which that kind of surprises me with the numbers that my Bulldogs have been putting up. But
You
at the
guys
same
are,
time, it doesn't quite like it surprises me, but it doesn't quite surprise me just based off of our Friday Saturday splits.
yeah. You guys are at 3.3, tied with St. Cloud State at and Air Force at 19th in the country. Miami could have a much better record if they would just give up less goals than they score.
Well, that's usually how sports work.
Yep, there's our John Madden moment. The team that scores the most points, they're the ones that's going to get the win.
But I mean, Miami, they are doing better. Not that there was really. I mean, it was not a high bar to clear. It couldn't get much lower than where they were
Yeah.
last year.
You guys are number two in the country in power play percentage at 31.7%, right behind North Dakota at 32.4.
And neither of those surprised me. North Dakota, they're usually pretty good on the power play, and
Yeah.
from watching this team this year, it helps when you just basically throw out your first line for the power play, and you have the talent that we do. Um, just go, hey, you guys do this. You're not trying to put a quote unquote all star line together. It's just these guys have the chemistry. Go out there and do it. And I don't know. I didn't see any update, but I know Max hurt something against Slovakia. I don't remember if he played against Finland or not. I don't think he played against Sweden, but we might be down him for just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he played either because last I saw that an update thing it said it listed him as injured. He had like one goal during the tournament.
Yeah, it was like he was day to day the last I saw, but that was before the Sweden game, and I just haven't seen any update. So if we miss him for a series, well, so be it. I'd rather, and I think Sandy would say the same thing, rather have him at 100% than him trying to play at 80 or 90 and know that we're going to have him down the stretch, barring a freak injury like Cole Spicer had at practice with a skate blade, which, oh, sweet, you play like 4 games with the team and then now you're injured. Not
Uh,
anything that he could control, but it's like,
yeah.
really?
Last news as of 5 days ago, he was scheduled to miss the game against Finland due to the injury.
Okay.
Suffered undisclosed injury in second period of Monday's game against Slovakia. I mean, your I think your team does a press conference or an update on Wednesdays, and they kind of go over. I'm sure they're going to discuss that. So probably news on whether or not he'll play or be expected to play come tomorrow. Da, 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 da. Also, is it Noah? No, it's not Noah. Who's the back that's in Arizona State?
Carson?
No,
No, that's the quarterback.
Jack Beck. He is out for the rest of the season. Um, However, they did say that he is expected to return to the team next year. See how that goes, or what other opportunities arise between now and then potentially. But usually with an injury, there's a high likelihood you're going to come back. Other
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah. Other injuries for Arizona State: Sean McGurn is expected to return. Anthony Dowd expected to return at some point this season for both of them. Johnny Waldron is just listed as out, so maybe still some information they're waiting for, or see how he's progressing week to week, day to day, whatever it may be. Um, those are the injuries we know about. I'm sure there's others floating around.
I mean, you get to this point in the season in general, everybody's banged up in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of, are you injured or are you hurt? There's a difference. Um, and I think a lot of guys are probably hurt, but they're not injured. And with the exception of the the guys in the Spangler Cup and the World Juniors, this has given them time, if they can, to just recover for what they need to for the stretch run of the season.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, they took the break to heal up, so hopefully they're if It's just the what could be from long lasting ones or what was acquired during the tournaments. But everything turns up here now, and we're gonna be back to conference play this weekend.
Hmm.
It is once again a tight race as it usually is in the NCHC. North Dakota sitting at first and with 25 points, 10 games played. Denver right behind them, 24 points, also 10 games played. Minnesota Duluth, 21 points, 12 games played. They've played the most so far. Everybody else has only played 10. Western sitting in fourth at 17. Arizona State with 13. St. Cloud State with 11 points. Colorado College with 10. Omaha 9. And Miami 8. Miami not out of it yet. Not out of it yet if Omaha continues to struggle.
Yeah, that and Omaha, they looking at the standings, they are kind of the surprise.
Um,
They
I want to say yes and no.
yeah, because I mean they did take a high risk gamble this
Yes.
year.
Yeah, they had a large amount of turnover. I think the most of any team in the conference, and they went
Hmm.
almost strictly CHL U Sport players this year. And I think it's one thing to have to cycle in a couple guys who played at the USHL level or um, the NAHL or even high school hockey into a college team, but to literally like reprogram your entire hockey team in the matter
Yeah,
of a couple weeks to get going into a season, um, I
the
think
the
is
only
showing to be a little bit more of a struggle than I think they were considering what they were doing.
I think the only program that would be close to competing with them just because of kind of finally the transfer out of the the extension year would be Colorado College, with it only being a 4 year college. They
Yeah.
would be the closest one, but they're used to that. Where Omaha now, they're like, oh shit, like uh, we got to do this and this and this, and you're also taking guys that play a very different style. Well, not very different because I mean hockey's hockey, and they all play on the same size rink, but the compete level and certain systems from the CHL, U Sport athletes, what have you, and trying to bring them all into one. Coach doesn't, he knows what he wants, but he doesn't really know how to coach these kids because they're a lot newer and he doesn't know what they need,
And I
but
mean,
they have the talent.
there certainly is a stylistic difference in the way the game is played. I mean, we see it when in non-conference play or especially at the end of the year. I think you at this point it's pretty obvious that whatever the NCHC does has been beneficial to them being a very successful non-conference record and or tournament record at the end of the year. Um, and it produces a lot of NHL talent who go on to have good
Mm-hmm.
careers in pro hockey, whether it's NHL or AHL, ECHL, overseas, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of pros coming out of the NCHC that are having uh, great careers. I think Noah Cates literally just scored a goal for Philly in tonight's game. Speaking of NCHC pros, um,
Yeah, like my point was when I backpedaled a second, it was like, okay, the Canadian game in the juniors versus the North American
yes,
NCAA, that stylistically is similar versus if you're coming from Sweden, Switzerland, Finland, that European style and transferring over with the different size rinks. That's why I backpedaled on that. And I'm
oh
like, it's
yeah.
not very different. It's
Well,
different, but it's not
and we
as
do, like I said, we do see some struggles. I mean, there's the way that the American referees call the game is different than CHL or I would assume Canadian college referees call the game.
oh
Uh,
God, those IIHF refs.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, that's definitely certain, or certainly something that there's adjusting to. There's also, the college game. There's a certain level of physicality that's allowed, and then there's certain lines you can't cross, and we saw some of that with um who was I think he was Omaha got in trouble for it. They got a little too physical with somebody, and a couple players got, was it North Dakota? There was two players that got suspended, one from North Dakota and
Yeah,
one from Omaha, and it probably could have been a couple more if we're being honest about it with the way that things were going. But
yeah. The end of that game.
uh, Alaska had it a couple years ago. There was the two players. There was the player from Arizona State and Alaska that literally dropped the gloves at the end of the season. Um,
Omaha and
couple
Alaska.
Omaha and Alaska right before that. There was
Seems like there's a common denominator here, though.
uh,
Well, a couple.
yeah,
Alaska and
Alaska and
Omaha.
Omaha. Uh, you know, um, and I think the kid from Alaska ended up going to Omaha that fought Omaha and Arizona State. Uh, but I think that's a difference. Um, Again, like I said, the style of play, the NCHC is very north south. There's not a lot of guys dipping and doodling in the middle of the ice like you kind of see in some of the other conferences. And if you do, you're gonna just get laid out.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a very physical conference, and it takes some getting used to and building up the body to that, both building up to being able to absorb those hits and just being used to taking those hits if you haven't played that style in a while.
Just being able to have your head up, make quick decisions, but be aware of your surroundings. And I think unless you're a hyper skilled player like a McKenna or somebody like when McDavid was coming through or Crosby was coming through, the guys that are going to thrive the best in the NCHC are going to come out of the WHL, not the OHL or the QMJHL if they're coming from the CHL as a collective, because the WHL is known best for their physical play and more similar to what the NCHC is.
Yes, 100%. What else? What else we got? What else we got? Brandon
Well,
Bussey is still on a tear in the NHL. Kid's freaking killing it. 14-2-1 record in his first was that 16, 17 games. Um Absolutely helping North Carolina right now. Good for him. Freaking deserved it. Deserves it.
yeah, I mean, there's as long as he doesn't beat the Wild, I'm fine. I think.
Now he can
I
beat the
don't,
Wild. I'm just hoping that they play the other goalie when
yeah. I don't
our
want.
teams have to play Carolina. He
Yeah,
just
I don't
doesn't
want
play.
him to get the win on the record.
Oh no! I want that. If he's in and it's not Detroit, I want Carolina to
No,
get
no,
it.
I'm saying if he plays Minnesota,
No. Well, I'm not a Minnesota fan. I'm rooting for.
I know you aren't.
You know what I'm
And
rooting
you're
for
hardly fan
when
than I am.
Carolina plays Detroit, and if Cam or Brandon's in net, that 0-0 shootout loss. So even then, the loss doesn't really count on his record. It goes down as a tie, and the goal doesn't count against him either.
I gotta look to see if we've maybe we're already past Carolina.
But what do we got? Oh, this weekend we got a full slate of conference play. Oh nope, Duluth is
No,
got a
no,
non-conference opponent because they have the leg
no.
up in conference games played. They're two ahead of everybody.
Also, hell yeah, we're done with Carolina. We've already
But
played them twice.
oh, good. But it is a full slate of games on NCHC TV, and hopefully everything will work this week because there may or may not have been some issues with the broadcast on Saturday during the first period of the Western Notre Dame game.
Oh,
So, uh,
well, I don't know. I wasn't watching it.
two teams that wear the exact same colors. St. Cloud State is at Omaha this weekend. Uh, Miami gets a little reprieve from the cold winter weather that is existing over here in Ohio and Michigan as they go to Arizona State. Western's probably going to get a little bit colder, and they experience the thin air that exists in Denver. North Dakota, I don't know that it can really get any colder, but they also play in the thin air at Colorado College. And then you guys host Lindenwood this weekend in
And I think
non-conference play.
my opinion on that is a good way to get back into it. It's not like playing with the way Augustana's playing right now. It's not like playing them. It's not like playing Bemidji, who we played earlier in the year. It's not playing like a Holy Cross or a Bentley or somebody like that from the Atlantic Conference. It's going to be a decent test. Should come away with a sweep and maybe exercise some of those Saturday demons, but ever since that Gopher sweep, I hate Saturdays.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear. Well, nice Ventura reference there. Every time somebody says it.
But
What?
yeah, I hope the narrative can change just a little bit. Um, we'll just start with it since I'm going off on it, but I don't know what it is between Friday and Saturday that the guys just can't quite comprehend. And Saturdays they're close games, but we just can't win them for the most part. And I don't know if it's we're not making adjustments because we won so handily on Friday. It's like 46-14 or something like that. We're outscoring opponents on Fridays, and then it's right about even on Saturdays. Or if the teams are making that much more adjustments compared to our adjustments, that they're coming that much closer and winning games and causing the split, or at least not giving us the full 6 points, even if we do win in overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's consistency is key. Consistency is how you win championships.
I mean, I'll
Um,
take 5 of 6 versus 4 of 6 any day of the week, but I'd rather get 6 of 6.
I mean, especially, I mean, yeah, for regular season standings and points, and to have the best shot at making the tournament at the end of the year for sure. But you
Actually,
know,
be 5 of 6 over 3 and 6.
yeah, 5 of 6 is better than 3 and 6. Um, and overtime wins count the same as regular wins once you get to the playoffs. But making those adjustments is something that's the great teams do, and in figuring out ways to be competitive back to back nights and winning games. I mean, it takes 4 wins at the end of the year to lift the trophy if you're lucky enough to get into the tournament. And it's
Mm-hmm.
4 wins against 4 different opponents, so you've got to be able to adjust quickly and uh, make changes when they're needed, and adapt to the next team up. And the nice thing is you do get that day in between games now, partly because of your team's fault, all partly due to North Dakota. Um,
Well, they decided to play 2 games,
they
so
did. So it certainly gets more and more important as the year goes on, and hopefully they don't start focusing too much on Saturday and the script flips. Maybe they start struggling on Fridays and start winning on Saturdays, because that has happened more than enough times to a Western team. They'll struggle on Saturdays the first half of the season, then they'll decide that, oh well, we're gonna figure Saturdays out, and Fridays go to hell.
yeah, and that's kind of I was thinking about even saying that is I don't want the script to flip the complete 180, but I want it to change. I want to get to the next chapter and advance in the story. And in this conference, you're not going to sweep every weekend. you're not going to.
No.
And I definitely, like I said, I'm happy with taking the 5 out of the 6 points versus 3 out of the 6. Take that any day of the week in this conference.
Even 4 out of 6 isn't too bad.
Yeah, but I'd really appreciate a couple more sweeps in there, especially when you've been so dominant on a Friday. Let's not make it go to overtime every single Saturday game.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
funny.
think I think in our series, I was like, all right, well, Saturday's going to go into overtime.
Yeah, you went overtime against Omaha, overtime against us.
I don't know. It just seems like every Saturday, it's like,
Overtime
yeah,
against Colorado College on Saturday after winning on Friday.
yeah, they're going to pull up the records at the end of the year. Minnesota in overtime, 27-32 for
Oh
UMD
no,
to lose.
you just straight lost to Omaha on the Saturday. You got
Yeah, they
shut
were
out
like the only
2-0.
ones that we've lost to straight
Yeah.
up.
Lost in overtime to Colorado College. Lost in overtime to Western. Um, that was the last. Nope. You lost on Saturday to Arizona State 6-3. That was the last game you guys played
Well,
after winning on Friday. 6-3 lost to the Sun Devils.
yeah,
Um, I mean, there's some decent matchups here this weekend. St. Cloud State and Omaha. That should be a pretty good tilt. Um, I don't know which. I mean, that could go either way, really. St. Cloud State's been hit or miss. They're coming off of a tournament win. Omaha has really struggled this year, so they need to get something going. Miami, Arizona State. I think they split earlier this year in Miami or in Oxford, Ohio. Excuse me. Go. We'll see if they can, if Miami can do it again, or if because they're playing like kind of a different Arizona State team with all the injuries. But Arizona State also coming off of a tournament win, looking to continue their momentum. Um, North Dakota and Colorado College. These have actually been kind of tight games the last couple years, as opposed
mhm.
to the mid teens in the conference when North Dakota was really owning this matchup and Colorado College was super struggling. Um, but North Dakota does also feel like they're playing much better as of late, and we've seen Umberco struggle again this year after struggling a little bit last year. Um,
Yeah. I think really North Dakota, they had that one year where they faltered and they finished sixth, I believe it was. Um, and that was 2 years ago or something, 2, 3 years ago. But they came back and they're still in North Dakota and yeah, in Bearco, he's hit a couple of struggles, and I don't know how much of that is him and how much that is the team in front of him.
right? It could be a little bit of both. He hasn't
I
quite
think it's also
gotten.
column A, column B.
He certainly hasn't been getting to pucks that he got to in the past, and the defense is not as good as it was a couple years ago in kind of limiting some of those opportunities either. It's much easier to get the puck across the zone than it has been against Colorado College. Um, so I don't know. And North Dakota, they're starting to settle in. Their freshman goalie has been playing really well this year, um, and kind of taking the net away from transfer goaltender. Uh, I have no idea which way the kid's name goes. Is it Gibson Homer or Homer Gibson? I don't know. He's got two first name, last names going on over there.
We'll just call him Homer.
But he has not played a whole bunch. Maybe not like what he was expecting to after following in TJ's skates moving up to North Dakota from Arizona State. But I think the matchup of the weekend has to be Western Michigan at Denver, right? Western coming
I think
in
so.
on a winning streak. Denver coming in, I think, on at least a couple wins. Or no,
I mean, I think. I
couple
think it's kind
losses.
of the what do they call it? Kind of the litmus test, like the just the measuring stick of where you guys are now
Denver
compared with Denver.
Denver did sweep the series earlier in the year in Kalamazoo. Those were not fun games to be at. We'll see if Western can return the favor because for whatever reason, Western does play decently well in Colorado. Um, I mean, Cam Rowe in his 3 years at Western was undefeated in Colorado Springs and had at least a couple wins at Magnus Arena too. So the team plays well in Colorado for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but they do. Um,
They like their brains starved of oxygen.
could be, you know. I do hear certain things about certain athletes in certain sports, and hockey players do like to do things that limit brain cells. So
Mm-hmm.
breathing some thin air may not be the worst thing for
They have clarity at that point.
them. But yeah, no, I think that's. I mean, that's really about it. I know we haven't had an episode in the last couple weeks, but between holidays and life and just the limited schedule, there really hasn't been much to talk about. So we'll get back into full swing here again. The games are late for Western Michigan and Denver, so may have to fire up a couple streams this weekend for those. It looks like Saturday is at 8 Eastern and Friday is 9 Eastern, so there's a higher likelihood that Friday I could do a watch along for. Saturday maybe I join it late, but um, I might be at work on Saturday too. I don't know. See how that goes. Anything else you can think
Uh, just for the simple fact that you brought up TJ, I think he was either the
of? Oh yeah, it's the ECHL goalie of the month or the week.
yeah month. So he's killing it down there. Double
Uh,
NCHC alumni. Uh,
NCHC Players of the Week. Hampton goes back to back weeks as goaltender of the week. Which I mean, really, who else were you going to put in that spot? Who? Rookie of the week was from North Dakota. It is I can't see because of all your stuff. Jack Kernan. Defenseman of the week from St. Cloud State, Finn Loftus, and forward of the week who picked up a hat trick on Saturday. I don't know, one of the games this weekend. Colin Potter from Arizona State. I know he had a hat trick. I don't remember which game it was. The Spengler Cup team, they did okay. They earned silver, which is, I think, the highest that a collegiate team has ever finished over there, right?
no idea.
I think so.
I didn't even hear about it until this year.
I mean, it had been like years since there's been a collegiate team, so it's not like they,
Um,
they they have a team every time over. But I believe this was their most successful trip, and a lot of NCHC guys went over. Eric Polkamp, Jake Livanovich, Abram Weeb, Zemplant, Adam Guyon,
mhm.
Aaron Liu was the athletic trainer who also was on the staff over there. So lots of NCHC representation.
Let's see. The only other thing I can really think of is
And the World Junior team sucked too.
yeah, I was talking with Tom about the junior team when we were at the game, and I'm like, this team ain't three-peating with how they played. I'm like, they're not going to three-peat, and he agreed. Um, but I was going to say, Riker Lee from Michigan State. I know this is NCHC, but that kid's a stud. Watching him play, like he's a very, very good player. And then the other thing is, if there is news posted about a player who was seriously injured. Use your heads as adults and don't make stupid tweets.
Say all the
If
bad things you have in your head. Do it. Dare you.
it was just, I think it was Hudson after he got drilled in the head with the puck at the game. I was looking for updates, um, and I'm not gonna go into what the tweet said or anything, but it had absolutely nothing to do with the news that he was released and he was going back to the team and that he was doing okay. He was going to be evaluated day to day and everything like that. Just don't do that, especially at World Juniors. Yes, they are technically adults, but they're still kids, and it's a sports injury. Don't do that. It's it shows more about you as a person than you actually think. And what it says about you as a person is you were a trash human being.
Yeah.
Be happy that the kid's okay because he could have died with where he got hit in the head with that puck.
Yeah. I mean, people are dumb. They take sports way too seriously.
Well, yeah, the tweet wasn't even about sports.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, like they just to put that much. Look at how people respond to fantasy football and fantasy sports. Like if a player has a bad game,
They directly blame the player or
dude, there's people sending death threats to the kicker for the Ravens because he missed a kick in a game that could have potentially taken them to the playoffs. But like the
yeah,
dude
on
already
him.
doesn't feel bad enough about himself.
I mean, and then the organization today decided to pile on and be like, oh well, yeah, you got your head coach fired because he missed the kick.
Right?
Yeah, it's just you can be upset and frustrated, but have it be relevant, and then also don't do death threats. They're humans just like you. They're just really good at what they do, and yes, they have one job, but yes, they make mistakes. And you know what?
Their job's cooler than yours. No one's gonna come and complain that you didn't bag the groceries right at the grocery store. Okay, settle down. You don't have that
I
kind of pressure.
I don't think you would appreciate somebody giving you a death threat if
If you stapled the papers in the wrong order, come
yeah,
on, Carl, get it together. It's 3 then 4, not 4 then 3. Figure it out.
yeah, yeah, you wouldn't appreciate that. So let's
Just
just be
blew a
better
$1 million contract because you can't staple right
because you can't count
or
because
count.
you don't know your left from your right.
Yeah, figure it out. It's a story that'll
In
never be told on here.
inside jokes.
Nope. I think that's about it. It's a great way to end it. Happy New Year. It's a new year, new season of hockey, sort of. We're halfway through the year, but everyone hit the reset clock and got a chance to heal up, move forward. Um, it'll be exciting to see how the second half of the NCHC schedule goes. We know it's only going to get tougher, and can't wait to see what happens. So, and we start it this weekend with 4 great matchups, 5, including Duluth, who's not playing an NCHC opponent, but 4 great NCHC matchups, all that can be found on NCHC TV. And then we'll talk about them next week because that's what we do sometimes, most of the time, but not always. You can do the YouTube stuff if you want. I haven't said it in a while. I guess it does matter to somebody at some point. I don't know who. It's not me. Pucks on net, good things happen, like Go Horns and Fight Songs. Until the next one, maybe with a new intro. I don't know. I'm working on some stuff. Bye.